Okay, so lesson 6 wraps up the unit, and we talk about estimating population in unit 6. So this is all based upon like the number of people who, whatever, right? So, and it gives us the data in percentages, which means it's in relative frequency. Okay, so let's go ahead and read the top stuff first. Identify the important information in the top stuff. Ninth graders, who cares, right? Margin of error is 1.2%. Okay, that's something that we have to consider. And there are 475 ninth graders. All right, so all of these, we're going to ask for a range. So you have to take 1.2%, add it to 6%, to whatever percentage gives you, and 1.2% subtract it. And that'll give you the range that you got to figure out like this. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit and let's look at the range is 1.2%, right? So for Facebook, right, it was 6%. So it's going to be plus 1.2% and minus 1.2%, right? So 6% minus, so let's see, 6% plus 1.2 is 7.2. And then 6% minus 1.2 is 4.8%, right? So the certainty of the information here says it's going to range between 7.2 and 4.8%, right? So that what is 7.2 of 475. So let's convert that to a fraction. So it's going to be 0.072 times 475. All right, so this is going to be about 34, right? Round up to 34 people. Okay, this is Facebook. Okay, and then 4.8 is 0.048 times 475, and it's like 20. It's 22.8. We're going to round it up to 23. 23. Okay, so that is Facebook. 34 to 23%. Okay, now let's look at Twitter, which is a measly 3%. All right, we'll just put a T for Twitter. Plus 1% is 4.2%, and then minus is going to be 1.8%. 1.8%. And we do the same thing, right? We're going to do 0.042 times 475, and that gives us about 20. It's actually 19.95, but we'll round up to 20, right? So this is the number of people. This is the number of people. This is percentage. Okay. So, and then 1.8, whoops, 1.8 times 475 is, it's supposed to be point, it's like 8.5, so we rounded up to 9. Okay, it's 8.55, so we rounded up to 9. Okay, so that's that one. Let me double check that. 0.018 times 475. Yeah, 0.855. All right, so that's Twitter. This is Twitter. Okay, now we're going to do Insta, as you people call it. Instagram is right here, and it's going to be and it's going to be 59 plus 1.2%, so 60.2%, or it could be as low as 57.8. 57.8%. Okay, this is all in percentage, right? So 60.2 is 0.602 times 475 it's like 289 or 285.9, so we're going to call it 286. The maximum of our range based upon our margin of error. right? And then we're going to do 50 or 0.578 times 475 is 274.55. So we're going to round that up to 275. That's for the Insta. All right, let's change to blue for Snapchat at 23%. So Snapchat it could be as high as 23 plus 1.2, which is 24.2%. And it could be as low as 21.8%. 21.8%. So run the numbers on that. 0.242 times 475 equals 114.95. We're going to round that up to 115. And then 0.218 times 475. That's 475 right there. 103.55. We're going to round that up to 104. And then finally, the smart ones that don't have a social media account, right, is none. So it's none, and the numbers are going to be, let's see, 7.8% on the low end, and 10.2 on the high end. And those numbers are going to be, so 0.102 times 475 is 48.45. We'll round that down to 48. And then 0.78 times 475 is 37.05. We'll round that down to 37. All right, so between 48 and 37. Okay, so there's some good data. Let's see. What the estimated number of ninth graders who have an Instagram account? That's my Burgundy Instagram account. It's between 286 to 275 for an Instagram account. Okay. So what about, based on the surveys, how about a Facebook? Facebook is 34 to 23. This is red. 34 to 23. Okay. So actually, these are asking for the range. These aren't asking for the range. This is for the expected number. So for the expected number, you have to, let me delete this stuff. So I'm reading it more closely. So for the expected number, it's going to be the average, right? The exact average. So Instagram is 0.59 times 475. And that was 280. So about 280. 280.25 to be more precise, but you can have 2.25 parts of a student. So this is 280 is in an ideal world where we didn't have this variation, this margin of error. Okay, and then for Facebook, it's 0.06 times 475. And that's 28.5. We'll round it up to approximately 29. Oops, that's the wrong block. And color. That's 29. So this is 29. This is 280. All right, 280 plus or minus 1.2% is like, that. Okay. All right. What is the maximum numbers for Twitter? Twitter was green. Twitter. Maximum for Twitter. Maximum for Twitter. That means Twitter maximum is 20. 20. What is the range for Snapchat? Snapchat was blue. The range for Snapchat was 115 to 104. 115 to 104. You could put it the opposite way. Let's do 104 to 115. 104 to 115. Okay. Let's see what else. And then this one is for no social media accounts. What is the range for none? This is orange. None. And the range is 48 to 37. 48 to 37, based upon all of our information we calculated up here. Okay, let's move on to the last page of this unit. All right, survey parents, 62% of their students spend too much on social media with a margin of error of 2%. All right, 62%, margin of error 2%, that means that it's either between 60%, 0.06, to 64%. Like that. So margin of error is plus or minus that much. Okay. So out of 2,400 parents, right? What's the low end of that? So 0.6 times 2,400. 0.6 times 2,400 is 1,104, or yeah, 0.6. Oh, this is the likely. So this is the, doesn't ask us for the range. This asks us for that number. So we need to use 0.62. Right, so it's going to be 0.62 times 2,400, which is going to be equal to 0.062 times, whoops, no, it's clear, 0.062 times 2,400. So 62% of is approximately 149. It's actually 148.8, but we're going to round up to 149. Okay, so that's the ideal. No, that's not right. That's 6%. And that's not right. It didn't seem like it was more than 50%. All right, let's do that again. So it's 1,488. I was off by a factor of 10 because I divided it by more than 10. Okay, so let's do that again. So it's 1,488. That is like in the perfect world. The low end, we already calculated at 60.6 times 2,400. The low end of that would be 1,440, 1,440. The high end, that's off of 60%. So 20, how about I write 20? Off of 60%. And then the high end would be 64.64 of 2,400. So that's 1,536, 1,536. And 480 is right smack dab in the middle. Okay, so how many people do not think they spend too much time on social media? Okay, well, let's start with 62. So 100 minus 62 is 48, or 38, excuse me, 38. So 38% of people don't think they do, plus or minus 2%. So it's going to be 36 to 40%. Okay, so that 38% is 24.38 times 2,400. Smack dab in the middle of our data range is 912, and then 0.3, so 0.36 times 2,400. The low end is going to be 864, all the way to 40% of 2,400. 0.4 of 2,400, which I think is 960, all the way to 960. Okay, so that is the range of the kids, and 912 is right in the middle of the range. Okay, all right. 32% of families reported they eat out less than twice a week. 45% more than twice a week. And 23 report they eat out more than twice a week. All right, so less than twice a week, more than twice a week, or exactly twice a week. Wait, 32% less than 40%. Okay, yeah, so this is less than twice per week. This is equal to twice per week. And this is the more than, greater than twice per week for these guys. Okay, so what is the expected number of families that eat out exactly twice a week? So that's going to be 0.45%, 45% times 0.45. And what is my N value? My N value is right here, 200 families. So that's going to be 0.45 times 200 is going to be equal to 90. 90. Yeah, 90 families. And it's not asking me for a range yet. So it's a range of family less than 2 times a week. So it's the less than 30. So that's 32%. So 0.32 times 200 is going to be 64 families, right? But that's the middle of the range. So I'm actually going to be talking about the emergent rate of 0.8%. So it's going to be 0.8% less than that. So I can do 64 times, let's see, 0.8 less would be 92% times 0.92. So that's like 58.8. So we'll call that 59. And then 64 plus additional 8% is going to be 64 times 1.08. And that's going to be like 69. And lo and behold, 64 is right in the middle. And then how about the ones that eat more? That says 23%. So 23%, the range. 23%. Well, 23% is 0.23 times 200, which is 46. Right? Up times the 200 is a 46. So I'll put the 200 there so that people will say I'm not doing the math. Right? Okay, so but that's the range. That's not the range, that's the exact value of 23%. So if I want to figure out what 8% of that, or less than it, 8% less of that, it would be 92%, right? So 0.92% of 46 is 42-ish. It's actually 42.3, but we're just going to say 42, right? And then all the way up to 108%, because we're adding 8% to that, right? So 46 times 1.08 is, we'll call it 50. It's like 49.6. Right, so but there's the numbers for us to deal with there. So approximately 42 to 50. Right, so I hope that makes some sense for you guys.